All right, here we start for real.
Okay.
This is such a joy, David Theune.
Thank you.
Seriously, it is. I don't think I've sat across from you in quite a while, so this is a real.
It's been a little
gift.
bit, and I know that you've had other guests that will do this, but I will also do this and say right away, and you're not asking for this, but like, you've been a huge deal to me in Los Angeles, a huge deal to me, and I've told many people this. It's profoundly changed, not that I'm a great actor now, but not only changed my acting, but also my improv comedy. Quite a bit.
First of all, I'm having all these feels.
Oh, thank you. Well,
No,
it's true. It's true. And let me be specific about it. As an improviser, I was improvising long before I came to you. But as I've gotten older and as my improv comedy has evolved, and for those listening, that's what I do a lot of. I do a lot of live improv comedy. I had a friend named James Mastriani, and when I first got to LA, I would watch him improvise. He's younger than me. He's younger in terms of improv. I would watch him and he was good. Then he went to this acting school for a while, and I would say this to him, I'm like, you have gotten way better. You've gotten way better. And he would say, it's the acting school. And I'd be like, wow, interesting. And then I started coming here, and I wasn't even thinking about my improv. But in the last few years, last 2-3 years, I felt it more than I ever have, which is my ability to slow down, to listen, to act, to have emotional responses, big, small, subtle, things that I maybe had seedlings of at some point, but I feel like after coming to JRS, those seedlings really blossomed, and I'm able to have it's not just about saying the funny thing at the right time all the time anymore. Now it's also about everything else, giving the audience more to see, more to enjoy when the lines aren't super funny, or the acting is enhancing what's already funny about the scene. And without JRS, I wouldn't have that.
Well, that is amazing to hear. No, really, seriously.
It's true.
I'm going to put the attention on you.
Mm-hmm.
You made such a big impact on that class. Like, you were a real powerhouse in that class. And I say this, here you are, accomplished improviser, person who works, they're making their living doing this,
Yep.
Between commercials and TV and film and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But and an adult.
Yep.
Not that you were the only adult in the room, but
but I was older than most of them.
You were older than most of them.
Yeah.
But you came in every week as a student, meaning like, I want to learn, I'm open, I want to experience, I'm willing to fail, I'm willing to air my frustration, like I'm willing to air like I don't know what this is, I'm trying to find it. You were being very moment to moment in your process.
Thank you.
And I think that's what people forget sometimes, that we got to be moment to moment in our struggles if we're ever going to be moment to moment in the scene.
Yes, absolutely.
Because how it's crazy to think, well, I'm not really present, but I really want to be moment to moment.
Yes. I feel like I'm still desperate to be, I do feel like I can capture that sometimes. I still feel like I'm desperate to be moment to moment and in it. Like, I still, like, on set or in auditions, feel like, and we're all our own worst critic. I understand that. But sometimes I still feel like, stop looking at the scene from above or from the outside and just be in it. Be a part of it. Be emotionally vulnerable. And like, all the people that I like, all the best performers that I love are being emotionally vulnerable and willing to look silly and willing to look stupid. It's something I like teach when I teach improv. And I still sometimes am like fighting to find those moments, especially in self-tapes and auditions. But sometimes when I'm on set, and then I can drop into it. And again, I look back on, like all of your students will say, I look back on the weekly training of JRS and just trying to like be vulnerable in front of the same group of people every single week and there's no camera. These are just people that see me every week. They know what my go-tos are. You know what my go-tos are. And so I'm trying not to do that. Honestly, sometimes your class felt like a clowning class in a good way, where it's like, hey, I know what your tells are. I know what your go-tos are. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
And let's push you in some different directions. And it was very scary, very humbling, but in a very comfortable and secure place, which was the classroom.
I love that you said that, because I know for me, teaching offered me, it gave me the opportunity to teach what I needed to learn.
Yeah.
And I found I was able to learn it the more I taught it.
Yes.
Because, I know that I can't do it, but if I start teaching it, then I can do it. And I started to be able to do it by teaching it, because I started to really work through some of the obstacles and some of the reasoning, the whys, and how it affected me. And the more I started to understand it through teaching it,
Yeah.
I was actually able to shift it.
Yeah. What do I believe? What do I actually think is true about this? What lessons do I actually need to learn and then teach? And I am and still am, I would get coaching from people here, whether it be Rachel or Ryan or Molly or whoever, and I would get coaching, or you, and again, I think I'm funny, and I think I have good ideas, and I book stuff. But we would do an audition, and I'd be like, here's my audition, I'm feeling pretty good about it. And then you or Rachel or Ryan or Molly, whoever, would be like, okay, what about this? And I'd be like, I never even thought about that. You made my audition way more specific and way better. And no wonder teachers and coaches often, not always I realize, but often book more.
Yeah.
And it's every time that happens, I'm like, you got to start teaching acting, Dave, because I want to be a better actor.
But by the way, anytime, I think, no, but I really do believe that it's, listen, this is, the whole studio was based on, well, obviously teaching actors, but
Sure.
One of the things under our umbrella is people starting to TA and starting to coach.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, when you begin to see it, it doesn't matter if you can do it. You just need to see all the things that a scene can offer. Because if you're not seeing it, it's hard to apply it.
Yes.
And for not everybody. Not everybody, but for I would say a majority of humans, if I can coach you into that thing, eventually I'll be able to apply that to my own work.
Yes.
And there are other actors who are just like, let me go, my brain's going to do weird stuff, I'm going to find great stuff. But that's
Sure.
the rare right-brained.
The rarest.
They just get, something happens, they could never coach it.
Yes.
But that's why in class I'm often saying, what do you guys think? Because I need to see what you're seeing or not seeing.
Yeah, because there's way less, and this applies to improv teaching as well. And I'll tell students this: when an improv scene happens, and it doesn't, let's say it doesn't go well, which is often the case with new students, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, I'll give some sort of note, like, hey, what about this idea? What do you think about looking at it from this way or this way or this way? And I try to always preface it or couch it by saying something to the effect of, hey, I'm a great improviser when I'm sitting in this chair, not in the scene. Then I'm incredible. I have a million ideas. I'm so funny, but I realize when you're up on stage, when the lights are on, it's going way faster and it's way harder. I get that. And the same thing I assume is with teaching acting, which is, hey, when I'm sitting on the couch giving you notes, I can have way more ideas. I can have way more specifics because I have a different outside perspective than you, the person who's in the scene, and the scene is racing by, can have. But me, from a ways away, from 100 yards away, can have some different thoughts. And like you said, the more I can do that as a teacher or as a coach to another student, the easier it'll become for me eventually, in theory.
Well, everyone, I'm sure you have this experience too. Everyone who's become a teacher, and we have such great teachers, but the way it started was they were just in class, and I started hearing them say things. Then I'm like, that's great. Yeah. And sometimes they'd say something, they would say it different than I would, and I love that. Their interpretation of it. I think that when they start off, you're just saying what you think I'd say.
Yeah.
That you're not there yet. We're just following the rules. But then it starts to become theirs. And then they actually will sometimes go, but what about this? And I was like, I never thought. Then they're seeing things like a different way to look at it.
Yes.
But that's when you start, that's where you only get to that place where you're offering that, where there's a competence.
Yeah, they know the rules, the quote-unquote rules. They know the rules, and only when you know the rules can you start to bend them and break them.
Well, competence brings confidence.
Yes.
And when,
Yes.
with confidence, you're like, wait, no, I'm confident. I can do this. Even on a
Yes.
bad day, I can do this.
Yes. I mean, that goes all the way back to like when I would come to class and you've dealt with this approximately 4 billion times where the student
Because
doesn't
I'm
know.
old. Because I'm so old.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was it. I just want to drive that point
Yeah,
home.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. As long as we're clear on that, we can stop the podcast now. I feel like I've gotten what I wanted to say out there. And, hey, I'm no spring chicken. I'm 49. But you would experience this a lot in when I was in class, where we came in and we didn't know our lines. We were not off book, so there's no competence because there's no confidence, and now we can't make any choices because we have to look at our page constantly,
Yeah.
and it's way harder. And that is something I've definitely taken into my. If I book things, I'm like, I've got to run this 100 times. I've got to run this so many times.
Yeah.
And that way, once I do that, then I can start making some choices. Then I
Yeah.
can start feeling confident. Then I can start making. I can start to make some music, dance a little bit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I am a slave to the page if I don't know my lines.
100%.
Yeah, and it's awful. It's an awful feeling. It's no fun, and you never feel great. Or at least I never feel great leaving a shoot where I'm barely scraping by.
But then you also get to a place where you are able to, even with limited time, at least understand the scene, break it down,
Yes.
figure it out, ask those questions, and be able to use the page.
Yes.
So I do think that there's also that next level,
Yes.
You know,
I would love to get to that level. That sounds great.
I think it is, but I think it also has to do with how you identify, David. I think you still, where your confidence or competence
Yes.
lies so much in improv.
It's so much in improv.
And I think that's what's hard because you're so good at it
Mm-hmm.
to where it always, I think that's the thing where, and I think you've earned the right to be confident in your acting, but I think that when you're so good at one thing, you're knowing the difference
Yes.
about how you feel in the two different stages.
Absolutely. I still get jealous isn't the right word, envious, but admire at a minimum other people where I'm like, look at you act. Look at
Yeah.
how good this looks on you. Look at how natural this looks on you. And then I'm saying my goofy line, and I don't have the same confidence in it that I assume that they have. And I realize we're all vulnerable and we're
Yeah.
acting and we can hide those things. But some of these people, I'm like, man, what I wouldn't give to do what you're doing in the way that it seems like you're doing it.
Well, I would like to ask Michael Jordan, when he stepped on the baseball field,
Yes.
what was the difference between stepping on the basketball court?
Right.
You know, what energetically? What did you feel? Because I can't imagine you felt like you did walking onto the basketball court.
Can't imagine. And really, like, you were bad in baseball in comparison to other major leaguers,
But still
like, you were still doing it. You were still hitting the ball in minor league baseball. Like, that's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Also,
So-
I do feel a little bit like the Michael Jordan of. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna stop it right there.
You are. Well, I've got so many questions. Well, one, you are loved by so many.
Mm.
You know, you're not going to hear like bad stories about David Theune, ever, and very loved. And you know, like everyone from our class, like really, I called Elizabeth Wilson before and Rachel
Mhm.
about questions to ask you. We'll get to a couple of
Oh,
those.
that's very nice.
But I think you moved out here in 2009,
2009.
but you've been doing it since 1999.
Yeah.
And you were a teacher in Wisconsin, right?
Good question. For a minute, I went to get my master's in teaching
Yeah.
in Wisconsin. After a year, I said, this is not for me. I don't think I can do this in this way. I don't think I can be an elementary school teacher. So I, like all actors and comedians, was in mortgage refinance as a day job. That was my world for a while. I had a bunch of different jobs. That's just the world I fell into. It was a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
As I tried to figure out, what am I doing with my life? Am I wasting it? Or what?
Okay, so there was this hole.
Absolutely.
And so was there anything rewarding or gratifying in that time regarding your professional life? the mortgage finance?
No.
Nothing.
Nothing other than I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that because it feels like that's insulting to the people who are in the field. It wasn't for me.
No, it's not that. What I mean is, I think there's people who are wildly happy
Yeah.
because they're doing these things. But I think, were you that guy, that person,
Yep.
who's like, there's something I have to offer
Yeah.
the world, and it doesn't feel like this is the arena to do that.
Every job I had when I was in Wisconsin, that wasn't. I did comedy sports, which is short form improv on my nights and weekends. So not including that job. Every quote unquote normal job that I had in Wisconsin, great coworkers, wonderful people surrounded by. But any of those jobs could have gone away the very next day, and I would have not cared in any way.
That says a lot.
Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered to me. I would have been thrilled. If anything, I would have been thrilled.
Wow.
Yep.
And then you started taking all those improv classes in Milwaukee.
I took a ton of improv. Going into my senior year of college, my sister said, "Hey, we both like Whose Lines It Anyway? We would watch it all the time." And she said, "Do you know that comedy sports, which is a thing that we had both seen a couple of times in our life, and that was local. It's across the country, but it started in Milwaukee, and we knew it from Milwaukee." She's like, "Do you know that they do classes? Like you can learn how to do what they do on Whose Line?" I was like, "No, I did not know that." And she's like, "You should take a class there." So I was like, "Oh, okay." And so I took a class there, and it changed the rest of my life. I didn't know that was in the same way that I did not know that people could move to Hollywood. Like I knew people moved to Hollywood, and I knew that it existed, and I knew that people were working. But as far as I knew, Hollywood was Neverland. It was a fictional place where not real people could exist.
That's amazing.
And I felt that same way, probably to some degree, about comedy, where I was like, "Yeah, those people are doing it, but I don't think any of us can do that."
And that first class was a turn on, right?
That first class felt good,
Okay.
and I was like, "Okay, I think I can. I feel comfortable. I don't feel crazy. I don't know what I'm doing, but I feel comfortable," and that's the way it continued from then on.
It felt a little bit like home.
It felt like home, and it never felt because I'd done plays in high school, and I had done like I did funny stuff in high school, and like I liked comedy a ton. Like comedy was my number one thing. It never felt uncomfortable to do improv. Or once I started doing that, it never felt nerve-wracking or anything.
And then you kept doing that because you didn't move out here till 99.
That was my nights and weekends. As far as I knew, at that time, that was it. I'm like, I'm doing as much as any human can do, as much as anyone can do that lives in Wisconsin, that's born and raised here. And I knew a couple of people that moved to LA, but those people to me were, sometimes still are in my mind, like beyond anything that I was capable of. They were the best of the best. And I thought doing comedy sports on my nights and weekends, which was great, and I loved it, and I still love it. But to me, at the time, was like, I'm doing as much as I can do. I have a 9-to-5 job, insurance, 401k, that thing. This is what I have to do, because this is what I have to do.
Right.
And then I'll get to do this other thing on my nights and weekends, and that'll be that.
Were you making any money from the improv or no?
In Milwaukee, I was. It
You
was like
were?
a part-time job. Not a great living or anything, but like it was a part-time job, and there were a few guys that did it full-time. Not a great living, but we did enough touring shows.
Oh, wow.
We did tons. Milwaukee at the time, still do, did tons and tons, hundreds of touring shows a year in and around the state.
Oh, that must have been fun.
Yeah, it felt like a little bit of I felt like a rock and roll star on the
Yeah, of
weekends.
course.
And these guys felt like it probably all the time. But I couldn't fathom at the time. I thought, where's your insurance? Where's your safety net? I couldn't wrap my mind around that because it's nothing that I knew because I didn't know anyone that. I didn't grow up with that. I grew up in a small farm town.
In all my years of doing this, it just seems like I love those stories the most because you know what life is like.
Yeah. Yes. Super helpful.
You know what life is like when I'm just having the regular job.
Yep.
You could have stayed at that insurance job.
Yep.
You could have had certainty.
Yes.
You could have had that life.
Yeah.
You could have kept that up.
Absolutely.
But like I remember I had a friend, he was an attorney, and he was making very good money as an attorney. And he's like, my soul is dying.
That's heartbreaking is what that is.
But he came and worked, but it gave him a different relationship to acting and this stuff.
Yeah.
Is that he didn't come back and put one foot in.
Yeah.
He put both feet in, but also with a sense of, and I'm wondering if you feel this way, but also with a sense of like gratitude of like,
Yes.
I love that I know that I love this.
Yes.
And I know what that other side is. So that's not some mystery of like, what would that be like to have that certainty? He knew
Absolutely.
the certainty, and he'd rather have the uncertainty
Yes.
than the certainty.
Yes, which is something I agree, and something I probably still struggle with. I'm sure I know a lot of people struggle with that, of like, the grass is always greener, right? People who have quote unquote normal jobs are looking at some of us and going, man, look at that life. You know, you have a lot of days off.
Yeah.
Too much for a lot of us. And you get to be creative, and you took a chance, and we're looking at them going, you have a house, you have a car, you have a whatever, you have we call it stability or whatever. And I recognize, like, it's having lived that, it's like, it's not as stable as you think it is. It's not as comfortable as you think it is. Everyone has their own struggles. Everyone's going through battles every day on their own, in their own way. Mm-hmm. It's just, what battles do you want to fight? And this felt more worth my while to me to fight this battle.
What battle do I want to fight? I really love that.
Yeah.
Like, well, I always say the thing you're willing to be bad at, or the thing you're willing to struggle with, is the thing you actually love.
Yes. Yeah. If I'm willing to suck at this, there must be something to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're like, you just get off. You get off the bike.
Yes.
I'm
yeah.
not willing
Let's stop.
What? Yeah. Let's just stop.
Yes.
All the things we quit. Like, I don't care enough about this to be bad at it.
Right. And that being said, I also recognize that I'm fortunate enough to have enough wins to keep
going.
me interested. Right.
But let's talk about that. One of this is coming from Elizabeth, and
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, here we are, 26 years,
Mm-hmm.
in.
Mm-hmm.
And you do, I know, David, I mean, I've had you in class where there have been like some highs and not highs and all
Yep.
that stuff. But you always have managed to take care of yourself, or work to take care of yourself, regarding just your relationship to everything. So one of the questions is, how do you stay creatively excited and fulfilled? Because I watch you do so many things of like, you've really worked on staying interested in things and curious and in the world. So I'm just wondering what keeps you stockpiling creativity?
I would say two things to that. Number one is that while I wouldn't say I do this great in all of my life, but in the creative life, I've managed to be able to fortunately spread my eggs into some different baskets, so not everything is on one thing. So if I'm not booking any work on TV or movies or commercials or whatever, I have live comedy to fall back on. I'm doing improv comedy, and I've done a ton of sketch comedy, and I get some satisfaction. I get a lot of satisfaction on that. And if that part's ever slower, then the acting part has kicked in a little bit, and so that's keeping me satiated in that way. So that part feels that is helpful. That's wildly helpful. Is I can do kind of both of these things. Knock on wood, see how long that keeps going. But the other thing is, I probably have a little bit of this mentality of, not a little bit, I know I do. If I don't do it, someone else will. If I don't take acting classes to get better at this job, this career, someone else is taking acting classes. Casting, the network, it's not like if I audition and I don't get it, they cut the role. No, they have approximately 100, 200, 300 other people more than willing to line up and do it. Talented people.
Yeah.
And so if I don't do it, someone else is going to do it. So I've got to take these acting classes. If I don't do improv shows, someone else is going to do these improv shows. If I don't take classes and get better at improv or sketch or writing or whatever, someone else is going to do it.
That insurance business taught you some stuff, though. You look at actuary. You're looking at all the.
Yeah.
No, but that's right. It's like, wait a second, what is the other person doing?
Right. Someone's always working at this, and I don't want to. I feel like if I don't, and maybe you can speak to this too. The way I think resentment creeps up and I don't want to be a resentful person. But the way I think resentment creeps up is if other people are succeeding and I'm not trying.
Ooh.
It's one thing if I'm trying really hard and I'm still not getting it, then I can at least put my head on the pillow and go, hey, I've given it my best shot. I'm doing everything I can here. It just didn't work out. But if I put my head down on that pillow and go, I could have done more. I could have worked on that self-tape a little bit more. I could have.
That cuts deep.
It's really difficult for me, and maybe you've experienced some of that.
I have. I think the hardest part is sometimes people feel resentment before they've earned it.
Yeah.
And they haven't tried.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're resenting something else. I think they're just resenting kind of like it's an emotional response to something that's actually can be much more mathematical.
Yes.
And they're not fully giving in, and they want the win before they need assurances that they're going in the right direction.
Yes, yes,
and
which I can understand and relate to, sure.
I get that, but that's dangerous. It's so dangerous.
Very, very. I'll tell a quick little silly story that reminds me of this. Is years ago when I first moved to LA, my first year in Los Angeles, 2009, I entered this improv competition at Improv Olympic, Iowa West, which is no longer here. And it was like an American Idol style thing. And I didn't know anything because I just got here and I'm just looking to get reps. I'm looking to get stage time. I'm looking to fit in. And a guy in my improv practice group was like, you should do this improv competition. A lot of like the best people in LA do it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go. And I went and auditioned and I got in, and they're very good improvisers. It wasn't the best of LA. It was a lot of green people. Mm-hmm. But it was still super fun. And and it's also like fellow JRS Clayton Froning, who I met at UCB, was also in this competition, and we had a great time. It was so fun. Anyways, I ended up winning this thing. All right, it goes on for like weeks. People are limited. Every week you have judges judging you, and it's a little cutthroat, but it's big audiences, and it was like worth it just to get some reps. Anyways, it ends. I win it. We go to the Room, which is a bar in Coengo. I don't know if it exists anymore. Clay used to bartend there. And we're like celebrating. And it's a fun night. And it felt like out of the shadows, this man who I'd never met, older man than me, comes up to me. And he was like, enjoy this. Don't let this moment get away from you. Don't, it's like, capitalize on this. You don't want to look back with regret that you didn't like build on this.
Was it your future self? What
it
happened?
It felt like it. I don't know what it was, and it like slipped back into the darkness. But that's what it felt like, and I was just like, of course, at the time, like, all right, man, who's this weirdo? But I think about him constantly.
Oh, wow.
Since 2009, and it's in the back of my mind of like, you got to keep moving. You got to keep moving. You got to try to keep moving forward and be open, be malleable, listen to other people, watch younger performers, watch older performers, take classes.
Isn't it weird that some old man
he was probably 36. I was 32. He's probably like 4 years older than me.
Oh,
but he might have been older. But in my mind, he was.
Was he at your show?
In my mind, he was 75 to 80 years old.
Was he at your show?
I have no idea. I think he was, but I don't know.
That's so lovely.
I think he might have just been there at the bar, just seeing that we were happy and celebrating something. I don't remember.
One thing that keeps on, I've said this on the podcast before, but when Gabby and I got married, like a week before we got married, we actually, because of immigration stuff, we had to do our honeymoon before we got married.
Oh, wow.
So we're in Hawaii, and this woman, she must have been in her late 60s, early 70s, saw us.
Yeah.
She had no right to say any of this, but she's like, we were like on the ocean and coming out, and she's like, and this is in 2003. She's like, "Are you two newlyweds?" I was like, "Actually, we're getting married next week."
Yeah.
And I explained. She's like, "Can I give you some advice?" And I was like, "Oh God, not advice." But this woman said one thing that stuck with me.
Yeah.
Forever, and I've said it so many times. She's like, just remember, you may always love your wife, but you won't always be in love with her. So just remember to fall back in love. At least, try to do it at least once a month.
Oh. Did she then turn back into a sea turtle and go right into the ocean? And
She did. She did. But I always think about that because that applies to everything.
Yeah.
If you have irrational expectations that you're going to be sitting there in love, and like that would be really time consuming. How could you get anything done?
Yes.
Like always love, but back in love, feeling that thought. And same thing with acting. It's the same thing with everything. It's sometimes there's this very unrealistic expectation that we're just supposed to be sitting there, like staring deeply into its eyes, and it's going to love us back.
Right. No, like you have to like put the effort in. You have to like be cognizant. And you we've talked about this before, but like the two things I'll say. Martin Short has talked about it in his book how he does like a monthly or quarterly or something like that kind of grading system on his life.
Oh.
Where he'll like have like it'll be family relationships, mental health, physical health, creativity,
He really breaks
career,
it down.
and he'll like kind of give himself a grade and be like, all right, where am I doing well, and where could I look to improve? And it kind of keeps him in check. And I think about that a lot. And the other thing I think about with Wild Envy is, and I'm sure this wasn't the case, but this is how I think about it. When we hear stories about actors in like the 60s or 70s who are, I mean, we could look at them now and say they were monsters. But some of these people who just like were on a movie set and like, hey, I showed up hammered. I went out and I was high on set, or I didn't know any of my lines, or like, I didn't care about this movie. Because they have another one coming down the pike.
Right.
And I'm like, what a world that would have been to feel like you can burn opportunities for whatever reason because you were such a big name or whatever. I love hearing those stories. I just think, I'm sure they were monsters to work with on set and it wasn't fun and they had their own insecurities. But I look back and go, I would love to feel so confident and comfortable with like career and stuff where I could go, I'll kind of coast through this film, this $40 million film.
Yeah, let's hope you don't go there.
I don't want to go there.
That's just dangerous. Because
Right.
once you start, it's like it's a dangerous thing. And I've had those clients, and you're just like, that's not fun.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
not fun. But like Marlon Brando doesn't learn his lines for The Godfather. You're
Jesus
like,
Christ.
how is that possible?
And Christopher Reeve like said on the David
Yes.
Letterman show, he's unprofessional. He should be a
like to
mentor.
work with.
But I love that he was like honest. He's like yeah,
I'm gonna make other actors.
be better.
I'm gonna make other actors tape the script to their body, and I'll just read it off of their body in The Godfather. And it's so the audacity.
Well, I will say, when I'm about to out somebody, but I will. When I was on the show called Citizen Baines. It was so big for me because like they were writing for me, and it was a John Wells show, and all that. And I was James Cromwell, and I watched Jane Addams. James Cromwell like was deciding to do TV, and I watched Jane Addams tape her lines to the cereal box, and we were only on like episode 3 of the first season, and I saw James Cromwell get so upset.
Yeah.
Because it was an emotional scene. And I think his thought was like, I didn't fucking come back to TV so I could have someone read their lines. And from a cereal box, and for me, it was such a big job. And I'm like, why are you doing that? And it also soiled my experience.
Yes.
Because I am so prepared. I literally had one of the actors, because I was just hanging around set.
Yeah.
And one of the actors says, like, what are you doing? We're not shooting our scene for a while. And I'm like, I just wanted to watch. And they looked at me like I was like being weird. And I didn't
Sit
go back
in your
to my
lonely trailer, buddy.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm sorry, I want to learn. I'm like watching to learn, and I'm excited. Like, it's cool. Like, I've worked a lot of years to get here, and here I am on the Warner Brothers lot.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is kind of cool for me. When you lose that,
Yes.
that's bad.
Yes, I find myself going to set more often now where I'm like, I can't just sit in my trailer anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I have to let me just hang out with everyone. Let me just absorb this because I don't know when I'm coming back here, and I don't know when that's going to happen again.
Well, you've done 25 episodes of St. Dan, so I think you're okay as long as it stays on air. But I do, okay, but when I said how you just say creative fulfilled, but I also, you're the guy who schedules, like you go to like, I'm going to go to this restaurant. You're like this vegan. No, but you like really try all these different places. I watch you. I look at your.
It's the same mentality. It's the same mentality in that I've said, because I like to. You're referring to like I'll post on Instagram. I like going to see different places in LA, specifically like old places.
Yeah.
Part of the reason I do that is because I think if I ever have to leave here, I want to remember what I've seen. I want to have seen things and done things, and I don't want to look back and go, I just sat in my apartment all the time. I just did that. So it's honestly the same mentality as far as like, hey, if I don't do this, I'm going to resent it.
That's the guy who took an improv class in 1999.
Mm-hmm. I got to do this thing.
What I laugh at, when I lived in New York for a few years.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the final weekend that I did a couple of things. And then my son and my wife and I went to New York, and we did things I had never done. I finally went to the Museum of Natural History. I finally went to, I mean, not this is great, but we went and saw the Statue of Liberty. We saw all these things.
I'm finally going to have a slice of pizza. I'm finally going to have a slice of pizza.
Yeah, I finally had pizza. But it is crazy. And I did regret. You're so right. And you're right. Like, you can't leave with regret.
No, it's good. We've all had regrets. I've already got enough of them.
We all do. That you can't be without them, but at least try to minimize.
Try to minimize them, and I'm in the place that New York and LA are, and I say this a lot. These are the two places I heard of more than any other place other than my own hometown that I grew up in. These are the places I heard of the most. I saw them in every TV show. I saw them in every movie. Now I'm living here. I'm embarrassed to tell you how often I take pictures of the Hollywood sign.
No.
I took pictures of it yesterday on my walk, and I'm just like, look at that old Hollywood sign.
Gabby always makes fun of me because, we walk to Larchmont all the time.
Sure.
And I'm like, look, she's like, you bring it up all the time. You always bring it up. But I'm like, it's just a cool shot.
Every time. I think about it when on just to drive here today, I'm like, I'm on Santa Monica Boulevard, just like that Sheryl Crow song. I think about it when I'm on Santa Monica, on Melrose, on Hollywood, on Ventura Boulevard. I think about it every time.
I want to go fast and furious about a couple of things.
Let's go.
One of them is your experience with improv, as we were talking about before, and I do want to say this for those people who are thinking about it. What is the difference, real quick, between Groundlings and UCB? Because you're a teacher at UCB, you've taken classes at Groundlings.
Yep.
You know teachers at the Groundlings.
Yes.
What would you say the prime? Because I think everyone says, what's the difference?
What's the difference? So first I'll just say real quick, they're both great. If you go to either place, they're great. They're so fun. I love them both. And improv, long form, short form, whatever, is, to me, 80% the same no matter what you're doing. There's some subtle differences, but 80%, 85% of it is the same. But the main difference between Groundlings and UCB is UCB has a core. They're doing long form, and Groundlings is more short form comedy. Like, whose line is it anyway? They lean more toward that in the improv sense. But really, improv is, I would think they would agree, and I don't want to speak for them, is secondary to the sketch.
Okay.
Because your first three levels are improv in the core track, and then you get into writing lab where you're writing sketches. Improv has a sketch track, but they also have an improv track. And I would say that UCB's bread and butter is improv comedy. And I would say Groundling's bread and butter is sketch. Even though both of them do both, and both of them do both very well. UCB continues to be a little bit more dirty, a little bit more rock and roll-y feeling, and Groundlings continues to be a little more polished. Their shows have music. Their theater is nicer. They have more. Their costumes are better.
Yeah.
But they're both incredibly similar and also different. But those would be the main differences.
When I moved out from New York, and I was like, I should take an improv class, and I took a class at Groundlings. I took level 1.
Yep.
I don't remember what year. It was anywhere between 1998 and 2000.
Yes.
I don't know what it was.
Yes.
But I will say, I was in class with Edie Patterson.
Oh my gosh.
And Edie Patterson made me, watching her, I was like, I'm not going to I'm going to quit. But I want to be clear, like I've never felt in an acting class, I'd never felt when I'd watch someone like going, I could never do that.
Yeah.
I've never thought that. But watching her, I was like, I can never. She was by far the best in our class, like
Yes.
by far.
By far.
And I remember the teacher afterwards. They were lovely. They were like, "I'm on." It was, you have to pass level 1, and she's like, "I'm on the fence with you." And I was like, and I said, "You should definitely not pass me." But it was not from a place of. But it was more from a place of going like, I don't know what I'm doing. I really don't know. Like
Yes.
I had maybe a couple of good runs at something, but I don't know what I'm doing. And I said, but also I'm not going to continue. And it's not that I didn't love it. It's that Edie. When I saw Edie, I was like, you should be doing this. And I'm not able to take from it what I need. Like, it's not what I need right now to help my acting.
Yeah.
She was willing to do the weirdest shit I've ever seen, and it would work, and it was interesting. And I also felt that way knowing Maya Rudolph was like that. It was like a similar gene of just like they were. I felt like they were born to be there doing that.
Yes. I mean, you're watching. That is, using a Michael Jordan analogy, that is like you're a freshman at college and you are now seeing Michael Jordan. You're like, well, I guess I can't do that. Yeah, no one could do that. I've done a podcast with Edie within the last year, and I am also going, you know what, let me look into these mortgage refinancing jobs. I've got to go back to that.
But then years later, I was like, but I still want to try some improv.
Yeah.
And then I went to UCB.
Yeah.
And I did the first few levels, and I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I let the pressure was very low.
Yes. Very low.
I liked that low pressure.
Yes.
There was no Edie Patterson in my class. There was definitely no Edie in that class. Okay, but it was such a wonderful experience of going, okay, now I know. And I was also at an age where I knew, like, oh, I can use some of this.
Yes.
I can use some of it, but like,
Yep.
not in any, with no intention, no aspiration of ever getting on a stage in front of a whole bunch of people.
How much more fun it is when there's no expectations, no pressure. It's so much more fun. And to piggyback off of your thought real quick is, this is for people who are listening to this that maybe don't live here, or are going to come out to LA, or want to start getting into sketch or improv. I would get some improv under your belt before you go to the Groundlings.
Okay.
Because the Groundlings is a place where it's very competitive, and also if you don't pass a class like 2 or 3 times, you're done. You're done with the Groundlings. And like don't make that your first place where like, I'm going to try this out, cuz it's hard. Improv is hard, sketch is hard. Get some reps before you go there.
Yeah, it's like an actor who says, I just really want to be challenged. I was like, it's all challenging.
It's all challenging.
And usually that's ego saying, like, I just want to be in an advanced class. You're like, it does not matter.
Yeah.
Just have a good teacher.
Yes, just have a good teacher and do the best with where you're at.
Do the best.
It'll be challenging.
It'll be challenging. And lastly, we're going to end.
Okay.
Your favorite shows? I know we talked Seinfeld.
Yeah.
You loved Will Ferrell, like your comedic things. What I just notice about all those people was, obviously, I love. How could you not love Will Ferrell?
So funny.
But the one thing I noticed, the one thing Ferrell does and Seinfeld do, and you even talk about Jim Carrey a lot, all of them have a certain abandon.
Yes.
Like they believe in what they do so fully.
Yep.
To where there's a lack of, there's nothing, they don't apologize for what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But lastly, like I've been thinking a lot about Will Ferrell. Because what he does is, tell me whether you, I mean, please counter me, please. Yeah. He finds this truth. Like even an elf.
Yes.
He is a little boy.
Yes.
A hopeful little boy that we have in all of us, and he puts it to an 11.
Yes.
And even when he plays an arrogant, asshole, like hard.
Yeah.
With
Ron Burgundy, he's a likable idiot, is what he's.
But insecure as can be. But he's always finding the real, and then just turning up the volume.
Yes. Yeah, I think that they're all doing the same thing in that they are all pulling from what they kind of already naturally do, or what is already part of their personality, and they're linking what they can relate to these weirdo characters, to these crazy characters. But I do think it's all coming, like you say, from a place of truth to who they already are. Because like Will Ferrell's never going to do what I think Jerry Seinfeld does on Seinfeld.
No.
He's never going to be that kind of a straight man.
But everything Seinfeld's doing is just making a commentary about the truth.
Yes, that's all he's doing, and that's what he's good at, and that's what he just like accentuates that. I think that Will Ferrell, I think all the best people are kind of accentuating, and I say this, I think they're all accentuating what they already do, and I say that really I'm saying that to me because sometimes when I'm like, I want to do all these different characters, I want to do this and that, and I want to do what Philip Seymour Hoffman did, and I want to do all these like wild big choices, but it's like they're all kind of coming from a place that they already know.
Yeah.
And so like it's okay if I do that, and maybe it makes it less daunting if I know all their weird, big, huge, great characters are somehow linked to them as people. And if I think I could do that, not to their level, but I can link things to my own personality.
Well, and then even Jim Carrey,
yeah,
he's sometimes adjacent to what's actually real,
yes,
but like in a way that he's aware of it, but he is kind of. I feel like he somehow channels this out of body.
Yeah.
I'm willing to go places that you wouldn't even dare to.
Yes.
Which for us, you can't help but watch it with awe because he does it where it can even make you really uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
And it's almost like you fear making, it's almost to a certain extent, oh, wow, I just put it together. No wonder he played Andy Kaufman.
Yes.
Of all the people he's going to play Andy Kaufman,
yes.
a person that will make an audience so uncomfortable.
Yep.
He is testing your boundaries all the time.
And he's probably always, to a degree, felt comfortable doing that. As Jim Carrey, the human, has probably always felt to some degree that that's a comfort zone for him, making others uncomfortable. And then he just does it in a bigger, better way that I can't do because I don't enjoy making people uncomfortable like that.
A client of mine, I can't say who, but Jim Carrey really was a fan of his, and he said, come over to my house, and we'll play backgammon.
Oh my gosh!
And what I was going to say is like,
story.
he's like, he said it was wonderful. He's like, it was just lovely. It's just like it felt very weird to just sit there and play backgammon with Jim Carrey.
I also just want to say that this is the first time I've heard of anyone playing backgammon in the last 30 years.
It's a wonderful board game that I have not played in 30 years either.
I bet Sinatra loved it. I bet Dean Martin loved it.
25 episodes on St. Dennis.
Yep.
25. That's like at a time in our industry.
Yes.
Whew, what a
gift.
What was the audition like?
I don't even think I auditioned. If I
got
remember,
offered.
I think I offered because I think my line was, I think it was just like one, maybe two little lines, and I don't even think they were funny. I think they were setups for David Allen Greer to be funny. And I had done an episode. The creators of it also created Superstore and also created American Auto. And I did an episode of both of those.
Yeah.
And they are great about like remembering who they worked with. And I remember them. It was one of those things where it's a little part. It's not a lot of money. Would you do it? Sure. Possibly recurring. Of course, they all say that all the time. And why? Never. And then I did the one episode, and I didn't think I would ever hear from them again. And then 25 episodes. Yeah.
What a sign of just like say yes, keep on saying yes,
and do the best I can. You do the best you can with whatever is two little lines. They weren't really funny, and I didn't think much of it. Afterward.
And when you go to set on those first two shows, just do a good job. Don't be an asshole.
That's it.
Be fun to work with. Be reliable.
The same as any other job in the world. The same rules apply.
I love that. Last question. You've never done. This is your first time doing 25 episodes.
Yes.
So that's going to that set a lot.
Yes.
What have you learned by? Because sometimes you do an episode, you're like, God, I'd like to go back to try. I'd like to go back to integrate some of these lessons I've learned.
Yep.
Like I feel like I'm gaining traction. It's always such a loss where you're like, I feel like I've learned something, but I don't get to put it to apply it on this particular set, on this particular show.
Yep.
So what have some of them been like the things you've learned?
Great. Here's a couple things. So one thing that I feel like I've learned is, and I feel like I learn this on every show, and I get that being a recurring is not the same as a series regular. Series regular, you're carrying the show. You have a lot more leeway.
Yeah.
But watching them not always have their lines nailed because they're having to learn so many lines,
right,
and they have to do another one, that it's different for me as a recurring. Like I can't mess up if they can. But it's okay if I do. It's okay if I do. Stay in it. You're okay. We can do another take. Everyone's fine. So that trying to give myself a little bit of grace in that respect is huge, and an ongoing struggle, an ongoing lesson to learn. But the other thing is, they're bringing me in for a reason. to serve the scene, to do what they're asking, and I'll always do whatever they're asking. I will, if they have a way they want me to say it, I'm going to say it that way. But they're also bringing me in at this point. It's different for one episode, but if I'm here for a lot of episodes, they have me coming back because they want me to do what I do. Mm-hmm. And so I have to be comfortable knowing and believing that they want me to make choices. They want me to put my spin on it to some degree while serving the scene. But my ideas are valid. My ideas are worthy of being included and can be beneficial to the show. Mm-hmm. But again, I also got to pump the brakes and go do whatever they need, do whatever they ask. I'm not a regular, I'm not a lead like everybody else. So I've got to be humble about that. But I can make choices because I also know what's funny and I know what I can do, and they want me to do that.
Lastly, do you ever feel, because I know that first time I ever did a single camera comedy was on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And I cried on the way home. Not because it was weird, because I'd never been on set for single camera comedy.
Yeah.
And, when I went in for the audition room, I got all these, it was just in front of the cast, and boy, did they laugh. God, did they laugh. They're like, oh my God, that's so funny. And I had this very weird expectation that I was going to be so funny.
Yes.
That Rob McElhaney and crew were going to just bust up laughing.
Yes.
But the reality is, it's very silent.
John.
And by the way, when I watched it, I actually liked what I did. I can't tell you what was going in my interior. I was like, I'm going to go home and hide. I even called my wife and said, I think I really fucked it up today. And what's funny is that was the scene that looked really good, and the scene where I was confident went badly. But is that, what's it like?
Yes, it's the same. It's the same. It's where I'm on a single camera comedy. I desperately want to make the crew laugh. I want to make my co-star, or I want to make my other fellow actors laugh. And when they do, it's the best. And when they don't, I am like, what have I done wrong? What happened? And I know logically, if they needed something else from me, they would have me do it a different way. If they didn't like what I did, they would have me do it a different way. It's a long day. They have a lot of scenes to get to. We can't be laughing and doing everything on every take. And also, by the fifth take, no matter what I'm doing, they've heard a version of these lines, and I've got to be okay with that. But John, I'm driving home going, man, why didn't that hit? Why didn't that land?
Crazy that we're literally thinking we should be so funny that the crew will fuck up the audio. That's how funny I should be. My humor should cost the production hundreds of thousands of dollars today.
That's why a person like you, like me, are not built for mortgage refinance. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you're not getting a lot of laughs in that field.
No, but it is an amazing thing that we forget that, and then it really helped me. It helped my teaching having that experience.
Yes,
because after crying, I was like, guys, the place about comedy. Totally agree. I listened to Dak Shepard say this, and I agree. Comedy is the hardest insofar as this: there's nothing there to support you.
No.
We in drama, you can be still. We can come in. We can play some music. You can be thinking about what you're buying for breakfast.
Yes.
We will project that onto you.
Mm-hmm.
In comedy, you have math. And the reality is you can't, going back to actuary, you can't fuck with the math.
You can't. And you also have to be hoping that the people on the other end
know the math as well.
Are paying attention, are in a good mood, and not thinking about their own stuff, and willing to laugh. And it's brutal. It's brutal.
This has, David, been such a joy, and I feel like I could go on for another hour.
I love it. But yes, all good things.
But this is truly, I'm so happy for you. Again, please watch David on St. Denis. He has done 25 episodes. I really think you should be a series regular on that show, and I'm wishing it to the network, but you are going to have a show, and what I also know is that you're going to continue doing what you're doing. Yeah. You're not going anywhere.
God, I hope not.
Well,
hope
let me
not.
consult the actuary table. Say, I don't know.
You know, it turns out you are going
Wait,
somewhere.
okay, you are going somewhere.
In 2000, you're going to Indiana.
This is wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. For those of you listening, if you're coming out to LA, please take a class with John. It was a game changer for me, and I mean that. I'm not saying that just to say it. It's truly been a huge deal to me, and you're never too good to take an acting class.
Thank you.
Act Your Life is a John Rosenfeld Studios podcast, produced by Pave Path Productions, filmed by Haley Tucker, sound engineering by Haley and Adam Tucker, sound mixing and original music by Brandon Liu and Brandon Liu Music. To learn more about John Rosenfeld Studios, visit www.johnrosenfeld.com.